And here we are again in another edition of Rare Delicacies. We missed you, and in fact, so did Lewis from Man Bites Film. Last time we were here, you gave us Akira Kurosawa's Dreams.
Yes.
And many people actually really enjoyed that episode. And so as gratitude, I wanted to give something to you. Now, and not just to you. Right now, with the state of the world and the way things are right now, we've got basically the Fourth Reich, like, on the cusp right now. We've got kids in cages. We've got, Space Force threatening to watch over the universe now, apparently. We've got people being taken off the streets. It's a pretty scary time right now. We've got people doing fundraisers. We've got people doing protests. We have the Me Too movement. You always have to ask yourself, what can you do? And we as entertainers, the main thing we can do is what we do best, be entertaining. Yep. And the one vital thing that always takes the sting out of any aggressor or anything else is diminish them by laughing at them.
Yep.
And right now, some of the best comedians happening right now are doing exactly that. John Oliver, Stephen Colbert, Trevor Noah, now, The Daily Show, all of them.
They've been doing a lot of cool skits, and
beyond just the skits, they're reminding us that we are still free to laugh, and the fact that nothing should ever be off the table to make us laugh.
Yeah.
And so it's in that spirit I wanted to give you a bitingly aggressive political comedy, a political satire from Armando Iannucci. Are you familiar with him?
I've heard the name before.
Recently, he actually just got a lot of acclaim. He just directed the movie that just came out, The Death of Stalin.
All right, yeah.
That just came out, but in America, he's dominantly known for creating the series Veep.
Yes.
On HBO.
Okay, gotcha.
But the movie that we're going to watch today, In the Loop.
Ooh.
And, of course, also you being a Doctor Who fan, I had to bring this out because it also stars the inimitable Peter Capaldi.
Yes.
Peter Capaldi, that man is life goals. I want to be in my 50s, riding in on a tank with a guitar in a medieval arena.
That is definitely on a bucket list of mine somewhere.
It kind of is. Yeah. That man is the prime example for us geeks. He got to live the dream.
Oh yeah, and in his 50s. It's like, wow.
In the Loop is in fact a movie based on a TV series.
Oh.
In the Loop is actually the movie version of the series Armando Iannucci produced with Peter Capaldi called The Thick of It.
Yes, I love that show.
Well, that's what In the Loop is. It's basically The Thick of It, the movie.
So I'm already going to enjoy this. That's it. You sold me on that already.
Capaldi plays Malcolm Tucker again.
Yeah.
He's the only one who reprises his role. All the other cast members from The Thick of It are in this, but as different characters. And it even has Stephen Coogan popping in here. Has a great recurring character throughout the movie. Also has Tom Hollander, who most of you at home know as Lord Cutler Beckett from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. But another thing to point out, this also features James Gandolfini.
Yes, his comedy is odd.
Which is
the few times that he's done his comedy, it's very, very subtle. It's complete opposite of Capaldi, so I want to see that.
Well, there's actually a fascinating bit of trivia here, which I was going to say for the interval, but Capaldi actually was a bit intimidated by James Gandolfini, and there's a great scene between the two of them. And if you've seen The Thick of It, you know Malcolm Tucker.
Yeah.
And Malcolm Tucker is the kind of guy who is not intimidated by anyone.
Yeah.
And so here's Peter Capaldi trying his best to actually still be Malcolm Tucker in the presence of Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
It's hard, but Capaldi being Capaldi, he was able to play it off just fine. In this one, Gandolfini plays kind of a pacifist general. Tom Hollander plays this foreign official who unfortunately makes a horrible snafu on a talk show regarding the nature of war. And this spirals out of control and unfortunately has this poor hapless idiot trapped in the midst of this cascading, escalating, impending war.
Yeah.
Where you've got people on multiple sides, some trying to encourage it, some trying to, stop it. And in the middle, you got this just hapless schmuck just trying his best to save face. But how much about The Thick of It do you know? Exactly, as far as, its origins.
Oh, no, not much. Not much at all. I watched the show. I didn't even watch the full show. I've watched probably, I want to say about 3/4, and then the links that I saw, they were broken, messed up, so I couldn't finish watching it. So it wasn't a full exposure to it.
But Armando Iannucci apparently did have a lot of experience working. I think he worked at Downing Street. And a lot of his experience, a lot of the stuff that we see in The Thick of It, and even the stuff we see in The Loop, a lot of it is pretty much based on his experiences and what he sees. Unfortunately, as much as we would like to idealize Aaron Sorkin's perception of what it's like to work in the White House, in all likelihood, it's pretty much what you see in shows like Veep and even in The Loop, where you've got people just biting each other's heads off, cursing like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that I can imagine that. I mean, West Wing was it was made for TV, so they had to dial back the language and dial back certain material. But you can imagine, you could see where a lot of the scenes led up to after where they cut, and you could kind of tell where it went.
It's an idyllic representation of what we would love to see.
It's probably more like House of Cards.
No, that's still being nice. Well, another thing that has to be worthy of note here is that where those shows are scripted, the fascinating thing about both The Thick of It and In the Loop is that even though they do broad stroke write the scenes, in the end, a lot of this is still improvised.
What? So all that stuff is completely improvised?
And he says, he spouts some of the most shocking stuff that you would think would be scripted, but came out of the mind of this seemingly unthreatening Scotsman until he has those attack eyebrows.
The eyebrows, dude. The eyebrows frown and the caterpillars get angry, bro.
Yeah.
And that's it. Hell breaks loose. And that's the great thing about Capaldi is that he knows when to pull back and when to unleash.
Yeah, and he...
Yeah.
Well, and...
So I'm looking forward to
this.
Well,
then I will not delay it further. This is In the Loop. Oh, that was pretty fucking amazing, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, there's a reason why I put Nsfw on the title. Yeah. Because, unfortunately, when you walk out of this movie, not only are you going to talk with a Scottish accent, because, unfortunately, the people who are probably going to be doing the most fucking swearing have very thick Scottish brogues, of course, Capaldi, but then you got the fucking fact that, this movie... Yeah. Oh. That man is a freaking gift.
Oh my god. Like, he was a powerhouse in this movie. As soon as I finished talking, I'm like, oh my god, how am I going to not curse in this review? I'm like, how am I going to do this? Because right off the bat, it's like, boom!
I had a feeling that this was going to be your Twitch. That's why I'm deciding to, let's just do an NSFW warning on this one. You can't talk about, Malcolm Tucker. You can't talk about...
No.
The thick of it, and you can't talk about In the Loop and not feel this urge to just let out a torrential downpour of obscenity. I, like a lot of people, found out about Malcolm Tucker when he got announced as the Doctor, and so I immediately had to backtrack and find out who's this character.
Yeah, that was the same reason I did, and let me tell you, he takes it to the next level in this movie. Oh my god, I'm lost for words to. And for me to be a loss of words, it means a lot.
We could man crush on Capaldi for this entire video. But there is a lot of other things that definitely have to be pointed out. First off, this is definitely a later performance by Gandolfini.
Yeah.
And I think at this point we never really knew what a gift he had for improv.
Oh.
In this one, but he
holds his own against Capaldi a couple times, and there's some scenes that are like intense, and you're like, oh, Sopranos is coming out. Sopranos is coming out.
Yeah, when is he going
to break some legs?
He's going to Capaldi and threatening to put one in his head and actually speculate if he's going to be a squirter. There's a whole slew of up-and-comers on this in this movie. I mean, of course, you have Zach Woods, I think is his name. He plays Chad. I know him in love as Jared from Silicon Valley. You said
from The Office. His character is iconic in that, and he plays the same character. It doesn't hold any punches whatsoever. And the cool thing is that it's a political satire, but it's not a political satire at the same time. You could watch this, and if you are not politically inclined, then you wouldn't catch a lot of the things that are going on. Which is cool, because you can enjoy it without the political humor in it.
People in power who really are the kind of people who really should not be in power, because they're either they're serving their own agendas, or maybe they are just kind of, they're doing it for the sake of their own ego, or they're doing it for the sake of machismo. I mean, every single person, every single character in this movie, whether you agree with them or not, they all have some kind of their own agenda. Even the people who are against the war are doing this for the sake of their own agenda.
And I like how it walks that line.
Mm.
It walks the line that even if you don't agree with the point of view and the kind of like innuendo that this movie gives and this political leaning that it gives, you could still watch it and enjoy it. Because both of us, we have completely different political views, but we could sit down and crack up at this so much.
Yeah, the people who we are seeing making these decisions about war, but these people are so removed from the people who are actually going to war, to fight, to pretty much die.
Oh, they have no fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah,
and that's made relevant in this movie and every show that we've ever seen about like the White House and all that stuff, because it's the truth. None of these people have actually gone to war, with the exception of one in the whole movie, and it's amazing how that character plays on the war aspect of it. He's like, I don't want to go back there, and anybody that tells you they want to go back is shitting you.
Yeah,
they're completely up their own ass. Yeah, and they're completely trying to sell you false goods.
And even at the tail end, when he says he's going to go back, that he was going to resign, but he's going to go back. We're talking about James Gandolfini's character.
Correct.
General Colonel Miller. Colonel, what was his rank? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Either way, he says he's going to go.
He was a general. He was a 4-star general.
4-star general, so he's going to go back, because now there's a war on.
Yeah.
And in any other movie, that would be considered the honorable thing to do, but immediately he's derided by the one person who he was on his side, claiming that he's spineless, and he's like, no, he's doing actually the honorable thing. He made his stance clear. He doesn't. He hates it. He doesn't want to go back to it, but he knows he's got to.
You know who that's play on, right? It's Colin Powell.
Really?
Colin Powell did the same thing.
Really?
He was the one person in the Bush administration that said, "This is bullshit, and I'm not going to read these lines," in the middle of a briefing, and walked out.
Wow.
He stood his ground, and he was like, "I can't do this. This is a lie. This is a fabrication," and he became a huge anti-war advocate. But when they did go to war, he was on the front line, and he put himself out there.
That's awesome.
You are in the military, you're a general, you could make your point known because you are a general, and you have that podium that you're allowed to do. As a soldier, you're not.
Yeah.
And you can't. If you do, you're breaking the rules, and that gives you no bearing whatsoever, and it completely takes any credibility that you had off. But a general does have that podium and is able to say that.
Yeah.
But the fact that he went back and did go back and do his job, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's
the way it should be.
Yeah, and he actually now, I mean, I've watched this movie God knows how many times, but it's now, with all of our observations right now, it having me come to the resolution that, James Gandolfini's character is pretty much the only woke character in the entire thing. And when you think about it, hell, I've had siblings who've been over there during hot times. Actually, I have friends over there right now.
It's not run by our government. This is all back forces that there's something that's above our government and above every world government, and that's what's running this whole show. So this is all games in a chessboard.
The thing that In the Loop does so well is that it shows that all the people making these decisions are morally reprehensible. They are completely ego-driven. They have absolutely little to no moral scruples. And anyone who even remotely has something like that, like Anna Klumsky's character, Liza Weld, she actually tried to make something of a difference. She tried to write an anti-war paper that actually showed all the cons, and immediately she is
ostracized.
She is ostracized. Her work is perverted. And she ends up getting absorbed by the very person that she was pretty much opposed to. And she acquiesces because she wants to stay in the game.
There's one line in this movie that really stood out to me, and that's why I brought up the chess. At the end of the movie, there's a line that one of the characters, he's playing chess with...
Chad.
Yeah, Chad's playing chess with, what's her name?
Kate.
Kate. Yeah,
Kate.
And he goes, I played for you the best move possible. And she goes,
You could be Secretary of State, young man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is the point of this whole movie, is the fact that our government doesn't really count on our opinion. Our government never has. And it's run by its own little point of view. And that's completely up to them. And they will not listen to anything or anybody.
It is a kind of sobering notion, the idea that there's such a strong separation between the people who are making the decisions and the people who are out there enforcing said decisions. And it leaves you to ponder that if you took the veil away, if you put those people in the shit with the rest of them, that would be a pretty damn sobering experience.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that they had before was that you'd had to have at least served in the military to be a president.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important because, honestly, a president is the one that gives the authority, one of the main people that gives authority to put armed forces on the ground.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for him starting that process, then it wouldn't start.
Yeah.
So how can you put lives at risk without actually doing that in the past? And I think that's a point. That's a very important point.
Yeah.
Because
and
you'd actually have an appreciation for life.
Exactly. And the sad part is now, currently, the way things are, everyone who is in charge and making these decisions, sending people to die, and not only to die, but also to pretty much take lives and enforce a will on either opposing side.
Yeah.
The people making these decisions are so far have absolutely no concept of the consequences of their action because they are pretty much up there in their little gilded tower looking out.
Yeah.
And it's abhorrent.
Oh, I love the fact that when Capaldi, he walks into the White House and he's like, "You're the secretary that I'm going to be speaking to," and he goes off on a tirade about the infancy and the umbilical cord that he's tripping on. Oh my God, that was brilliant.
There's a scene where there's a scene where Malcolm Tucker he gets completely messed with, where he ends up where the war committee's happening somewhere just seemingly innocuous, and he gets sent off to the White House with an aide who is like 22 years old. If there's anyone I think Malcolm would be just by calling a fetus boy, it would definitely be this kid.
That was great. Oh my God, like that has to be the point of this whole film. The highlight of this whole film is the tirades that Malcolm's character does.
Yeah,
are just, and his little his Doberman Pinscher sidekick. What's his name?
Jamie.
Jamie.
Well, actually, I completely misquoted at the beginning of this, but yeah, Jamie is also another character from the thick of it.
Yeah.
He actually came in, I think, in the second season. It's just hilarious when you hear two really angry Scotsmen going at
when they call him English.
Yeah,
that was great.
And that I think my favorite thing about it is not so much that Capaldi said, "Don't fucking call me English again," but the fact that James Gandolfini looked absolutely confused about it. And that is the American failing. It's like they just assume everyone who doesn't talk like American is English, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
No, he's a fucking Englishman. He's a fucking Scotsman.
If you like quick-witted, amazing dialogue, amazing storytelling, and it goes in a snap, dude.
Yeah. Well, and not just that, but if you're a comedy fan who loves the art of improvisation, this one, I mean, I love, of course, the works of Christopher Guest with Spinal Tap and all them, but Armando Iannucci, with the work he's done on this, I mean, I'm going to get around to watching Veep, but from what I hear, it's like that same level of aggression, but it has that same level of pedigree when it comes to the improv.
Right.
And I'm dying to see the death of Stalin. This all goes back to what I said in the very beginning about about why we need to pretty much point the finger at the people in politics who need to be poked fun at.
Oh, yeah.
Take the power away from them because unfortunately they have way too much in their hands, and a lot of innocent people are suffering as a result of it. They're making it out to them like it's going to be glorious, when in reality they're just doing it as propaganda to get them to do it so they don't have to do it.
I think that the more government you have, the more corruption you have, and the more bureaucracy you have, and I'm totally against that.
Yeah.
So the least power into federal government has, the better the happier I'll be. Mm-hmm. That's my point of view on it. That's my 2 cents. So, yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent. I 100% agree with all the stuff that you've been pointing out so far.
Yeah,
So,
there's going to be strife, there's going to be conflict, and unfortunately there is the necessity that you're going to have people come in mass. But the best part is because we are able to talk about it, and we're able to rip into it. That's the kind of power that we need to ourselves wield and make sure that no one takes it away from us.
Oh yeah,
and a movie
that
such
is for sure.
And a movie such like this, because of its fearlessness, because of its aggression, I think that's the kind of stuff that we as entertainers need to. And
we got to keep our eye out keep our radar up for any movies that are like this
Mm-hmm.
and that are getting thrown into the back burner.
Yeah.
Because that is the beginning of a lot of things that you don't want to see the result of.
Exactly.
And movies like this need to be brought up and brought forward to you guys. That's why
That is why
this man brings these things that are amazing.
That is why Rare Delicacies exist, not just for the sake of entertainment. That's of course the fringe benefit, but the whole purpose of a lot of great films is to provoke thought, provoke discussion, even if it's done in an aesthetic that usually doesn't. Usually comedy isn't the kind that usually does promote discussion.
Yeah,
but,
they do. Oh, they
but
do. Yeah.
Some of the best comedies in the world always had something vital to say.
Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove is probably the balls on Kubrick to make to make a comedy about nuclear paranoia just right after we got out of the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, I mean, that's the type of movies you gotta look out for and keep an eye out, because you don't want Fahrenheit.
451. We don't want that.
You gotta really voice your opinion, and you gotta make your opinion known. I think that is the only way to really make a change.
And if you're gonna run into conflict, you're gonna run into a lot of people saying, trying to get on you, saying you're not American or you're a dissident, but never let that break you down, because in the end, when they say laughter is the best medicine, they mean that, because that's the way you pretty much show the people who are pathetic and the people who do not deserve the power. That's how you take their power away from them, because they can't stand being made fun of.
But not only that, if you make fun of somebody and you point out certain things, it will stick with them. Mm-hmm. So when they go back home and they go to bed, their thoughts are going to be on that person that made fun of them. And that skit that made them laugh. And it's going to make them think. Mm-hmm. And little by little, that starts the inception, I guess you might say, of potentially changing a single person's mind. And if each and every single person change one single person's mind, that changes the whole game. Exactly. And that's what starts this whole thing.
If we can pursue movies like this, and if we are still feeling that we can still laugh about shit, that's the way we get through this. So if you are feeling in any kind of way like afraid or just terrified, if you want some kind of faith that we're still able to smile again, find this movie, find In the Loop, find pretty much most of the works by Armando Iannucci, Death of Stalin, Veep, go to even the original series, The Thick of It, and not just that, go to John Oliver, go to Stephen Colbert, go to Michelle Wolf, go to any of them, so that way you can be reminded that you can still laugh again.
Yep.
But for right now, on Rare Delicacies, In the Loop. Look for it. It's on Blu-ray. It's everywhere. It's on your iTunes. Go for it. This is Rare Delicacies, and this one is on the menu.
Good God, y'all.